Hey, I wanted to talk about something really quick, and I saw a short. I thought I saved it because I was going to clip it and share it, but I can't find it. Where in New York they were saying how the immigrants are taking the resources and things of that nature from them. And I wanted to talk about that on a different level. Well, not so much different level, but I wanted to address that in a way where, uh, like, tonight, comparison. Like when we compare ourselves to others, and then the hate that is presented to us as a poison for us to hate one another. And although I wanted to say it's very frustrating what's happening with the migrants and the immigration and things of that nature, the resources are not being handed out per se on a fair basis. But I wanted to the reason I want to say something about this is to try to look at it a little different, because it reminds me of the past of how we were taught to hate. And I can speak in the black, for the me growing up in the black community, whereas we were taught to hate one another because, some people are dark skinned, some people are light skinned, some are compared, they have the brown paper bag comparison deal, right? And so that was instilled in us very deeply, and it caused a lot of hate. So watching that clip of the short, and how I don't know if he was homeless, I don't know. Yeah, he did say we're homeless and they're taking all our resources and stuff like that. And so now it's like, you're going to fight the immigrants, hate the immigrants and the migrants, because they're putting them out there for you to hate. And it's like we continue. That's why I agree with when people say just because you have gray hair and wrinkles don't mean that you know everything. Just because you have a degree or you hold a political office, signing executive orders, making decisions, the final decisions to rules and regulations, it's blah, 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 right? And so it's like just wanting to bring out what I think about it, and it might help someone to think about it in a different way, where trying to be mindful of not to hate one another just because we feel as though something is being taken away from us, or we're not being treated fairly, And the main thing is, don't compare. Comparison is definitely, like I heard earlier, comparison is one of the worst poisons in this world when we compare. So I can only talk about myself as far as when I mentioned comparison, how I learned to stop comparing myself to others, stop looking at what someone else is doing. Say, for example, in the work environment, if one person is being treated different than another, learning about comparison has changed my life so much, to have me look more into myself, figure out, what is it about me, in answering the questions that are within myself, and being, who I am, myself, without comparing it to somebody else, or without listening to someone else compare me to another person, or try to put that in my brain that I need to be like another person or do as another person, right? So I just wanted to share that as we, think about the unfairness of what's happening in the world. If we look more at ourselves and stop comparing instead, and not compare ourselves to others, so that there will be no jealousy, there will be no envy, there will be no fighting, there will be no fussing, and we can develop ourselves on a more deeper level and learn to do for ourselves, so that we're not standing there waiting for them to give us some breadcrumbs or some government cheese or whatever type of resources that might be. So how to break free from this destruction pattern that continues to strain the fabric of our society. Like this disparity that breaks resentment and frustration. By teaching the young. Number one, like self-reliance. I guess something happened. I keep looking back. Self-reliance. Teaching the young folks about self-reliance. Teaching them to find out from other people about self-reliance until they get it themselves. By focusing on building skills, useful skills, building their knowledge, and finding various ways to find resources within our communities. For example, whereas one person may say no, don't get upset, don't get mad at the person, don't say you did this or that for somebody else, and keep going until you find and ask another person the resources you want. You go into the emergency room and you're looking for resources and they don't give it to you. Don't get mad. Don't tear up the place. Let it be. Walk away, your head up, chest out, and do know that you will find the resources and get the resources that you need one way or another. It may not be from that person that you originally approached. It may be from somebody else. It may be from your own heart, getting creative, trying to figure out other ways to gain resources. Number 2, reject comparison at all costs. Avoid measuring our worth against others, especially immigrants who are also seeking a better life. So just try to think about it that way, that if that was you would want to be, trying to get a better life, regardless of what the extremist people are saying. Those that talk negative about it and say all types of, it's just so many crazy negative things. If you get away from them people, don't put that in your head and just think, what if that was you? If you were born in another country or something and you wanted to get away for better resources and that happens to be you, how would you want to be treated? It's not worth the stress that's put on your heart and your soul. It's not worth the being miserable and feeling nasty when you see, because that's what you're going to feel, and that's how you're going to act towards people when you see people that are not like you. When you see people that you're constantly thinking negative about and letting people put negativity in your mind about them. Number 3, demand accountability by holding policymakers responsible for equitable distribution of opportunities and resources. So, if we're on a committee, we can say something. If we belong to the team that signs the orders, we can say something. We can also say something if it really, really bothers us and we're really, really hurt. Write a letter to White House, send it through the internet, whitehouse.gov, or write to the White House or to your congressman, to the commissioners, whoever's in your community. Find out who is the owner of the building or the people that are working, handing out the resources where you try to get resources and you felt wronged, Put it in writing. Make yourself feel better. But it's not worth it to get in a fighting match, to get in a nasty feeling, to hate people for it, because we can't control what's going on, right? It's already happened and it's continuing to happen. We cannot control it. We can do our part and say our part however we can, but we must continue to build ourselves up and learn to do for ourselves, which can be a call to action, especially to the young people listening today. I say, do not give your energy to those who have historically devalued and disliked you. Instead, channel that energy into... Cut off right there. But what I'm saying, if you feel like it, please do not give your energy to those that have historically devalued and disliked you. Instead, channel that energy into self-improvement. Now, there's something I watch quite often on a regular basis, and one thing they talked about is, say for example, when you go and ask for something from family members, from friends, from loved ones, a husband, a wife, or girlfriend, boyfriend, or family members, and they make you feel like shit because you are needing something, right? And so you develop that something within you to say, I don't need nothing. I got it. I don't need nothing, right? And you develop that I don't know what it's called. I can't think right now, but I want you to, if you can, drop the ego, drop the pride, drop whatever's inside of you, to open your heart and don't be afraid to accept when someone gives you something, because throughout the universe, someone hands you something, someone offers you something. Don't push it away, and it'll seem, and it's gonna hurt because you really need it. And don't feel bad about accepting it. The reason you feel bad is because something in the past, something in the backstory has happened to make you put this guard up to say, I don't need nothing. Not a damn thing, right? But I just wanted to say, think about that, do your own research on that, and have an open heart. There are angels out here. There are people that have the same type of mentality as you have, that are not just vindictive. Okay? Peace.